A state auditor's investigation reveals the potential for criminal activity by the former town manager in Cary. Coming up, we spoke to the state auditor himself about this.
And closed for repairs after a WRAL investigation into violations at the Wake County Animal Shelter. The facility is shutting down for renovations. What improvements are needed and how a new facility could be the answer.
The temperature swing is back. I'm looking at our unsettled weather before our next Arctic front brings a chance for rain and wind chills in the teens.
Let's start with that breaking story out of Cary tonight. Did Cary's town manager break the law? That's the question in front of investigators at the state and local level. Thanks for being with us here at 7 o'clock. I'm Ashley Rowe.
And I'm Dan Haggerty. So we've been talking about this story for a while now. The former town manager resigned because of concerns about the ways that he was spending money. Well, now the state auditor's office says there may have been criminal activity here.
WRAL's Heidi Kirk is covering this story for us tonight. Heidi, you spoke to the state auditor just a short time ago. You know, it's been less than a month since he launched this investigation.
Well, Dan, Ashley, you're absolutely right. We've been on top of this story basically since we first got those details. Now, it was early December when the state auditor himself started investigating this. And now for the first time, we're getting a little bit of a look into what that investigation has uncovered. Now, go ahead and take a look at your screens. This is former town manager Sean Stiegel. He is the person that a lot of this investigation has centered around. Now, in that interview with the state auditor, Dave Bullock, he gave us a little bit of a lens into the criminal activity that could be surrounding the former town manager. Now, it all has to do with transactions on what he calls a procurement card, or otherwise known as just your average company card. He said some of those transactions are potentially indicative of fraud. Now, we don't know that for certain yet, but that's what kind of the initial investigation has uncovered here. Dan?
So, Heidi, the state auditor has recently gotten some new titles, basically jobs. The state auditor says that he is now included in the State Bureau of Investigation, and the Wake County District Attorney is in this conversation. So it sounds like there's more to come in the days and weeks ahead. What did he say about this part of it?
Definitely. So we're working to learn some of the specifics on their involvement. But up to this point, he said that he met with them actually today to kind of go over some of the initial findings and those details there. Now, we did get a statement from him, and I want to read that in part. If you go ahead and take a look at your screens, you will see part of that statement here. He says, as we move forward with our own review into the town of Cary, the state auditor's office will continue working with law enforcement officials and the Wake County District Attorney's office on this matter. Our goal is to be as useful as possible in providing information that may support any prosecution of criminal activity. Now, in our interview with the state auditor, he did share exactly where they're going to go from here.
The key to finding and getting to the bottom of any misappropriation is a long-term pattern of spending and the exact items, for example, or services that are purchased with public dollars, and whether those items and services are purchased with a legitimate need of the town.
Heidi, you know, this is a story that really hits the 7 p.m. inbox all the time. Viewers have a lot to say on this, don't they? But of course, so do town officials. And I know the mayor was pretty outspoken when Stiegel first resigned. What's he saying now?
Absolutely. Well, the mayor is one of the first people that we heard from tonight. We got a lengthy statement from him, but I want to read you part of it. Go ahead and take a look here. I'm going to read you part of what he's had to say. Now, he says the state auditor has raised concerns about potential legal violations by Sean Stiegel that we take very seriously. Once presented to us, we will review the auditor's findings carefully and will partner fully with any additional investigations. Now, of course, we have reached out to Stiegel. I've texted him, called him, emailed him, trying to get his response to all of this. So far, we have not heard back, but of course, we will stay on top of any developments in this ongoing story.
Yeah, we'll see if he responds. Heidi, thank you for the reporting tonight. We know all of you at home, this is a story that really matters to a lot of you, and we want your thoughts. We want to hear what you have to say. Give us your questions. Send an email to 7 p.m. at WRAL.com. What is a part of this story that you believe the news is missing, that you want to see us cover? Tell us what's on your mind, and we'll cover it right here at 7 o'clock. We pretty much always operate over capacity now. Whew.
That's quite the quote of the day, coming from the community outreach manager for the Wake County Animal Center. And it's true. She says they have been at or over capacity for the last 2 years. And now they're closing the shelter for about a month and a half to make repairs. It's a move that comes after WRAL Investigates dug into state violations against the shelter. But some county commissioners want to take it a step further, to not only repair the current facility, to build a new one as well. The thing is, it's not going to be cheap. Here's WRAL's Destiny Patterson.
A $57 million facility in southeast Raleigh. Megan Frost says it could be the solution to some of these issues at the Wake County Animal Center.
This here does provide disease controls, but when you've got this exposed, that's where disease can get it.
In November, WRAL Investigates reported maintenance violations that led to a $1,400 fine for the animal shelter.
Are these repairs in response to that fine that you all received in November?
Yes, so actually the repairs were identified by the state when they came in to do their inspection.
From cracked flooring to chipped paint in the kennels here, this facility is dealing with more than $70,000 in repair costs. They'll be shut down for about 6 weeks while they remedy these issues, and staff here tell me that they hope that it'll hold them over until they get a new facility.
We're very excited about the features that we're going to have in our new animal center.
County Commissioner Vicki Adamson says she expects all of her colleagues to approve the design of the new building.
That just makes the experience for the animals a little kinder and gentler when they do have to come in.
The new place could be more than double the size in square footage, with space for roughly 200 additional animals. It would have a dedicated isolation space for sick animals and different entrances for adoptions and surrenders, plus a training space.
When we've got such much needed repairs, daydreaming about the new building, does happen.
While they're doing repairs, they are still doing adoption, so you can still adopt during this time, but the building will be closed to the public. Destiny Patterson, WRAL News, Wake County.
And our thanks to Destiny. Here is what capacity looks like right now at the shelter. 169 dogs plus 10 puppies, 36 cats plus 6 kittens. Here are those numbers compared to capacity at the current shelter. The number of dogs exceeds what the facility can handle. But here's what capacity would look like at a new shelter. They would have space for 90 more dogs and 140 more cats. County leaders will vote on a design for a new facility next week. While the repairs at the current shelter are underway, private boarding facilities and nonprofits have stepped up to take care of the animals.
It's time to roll through some of the other big headlines tonight. These are the 5 things you should know right now. The man accused of killing 2 Orange County teenagers rejected a plea offer today. That's Isaiah Ross, charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder for the deaths of Lyric Woods and Devin Clark. Prosecutors offered Ross a plea deal to plead guilty to 2 charges of second-degree murder, but again, he did not take it. The trial will now move forward. Jury selection starts tomorrow morning. A case out of Robeson County did end with a plea deal. This is Sean Locklear. He's accused of shooting 2 Robeson County deputies, then trying to run them over with their own patrol car. This was back in November of 2023. WRAL did obtain body camera video of the incident. You can find that on WRAL.com. Locklear did plead guilty today to those federal charges, getting 45 years in prison. The Raleigh Convention Center reopens tomorrow. Their first events will take place after a fire damaged the roof there. They will use a temporary mobile kitchen to provide food for the events, at least until all the remaining repairs are complete. Starting next month, if you're flying out of RDU and you don't have one of the real IDs, you might have to pay up. TSA will charge you a $45 fee. You'll be good to fly for 10 days, but after that, it's back to square one. If you don't have the ID, you'll have to pay again. We have a list of all the accepted forms of ID, things like a passport. That's all on WRAL.com. And Franklin Street and Chapel Hill back open after a pair of sinkholes formed. Sky 5 over that area. This is right between Hillsborough and Henderson Streets. They were blocked for most of the day. Crews have since finished those repairs. So, did you catch the Panthers game over the weekend? They were that close. Is it a sign of things to come? A lot had to go right to put the Panthers in that playoff position. But do you think that is a setup, that they're set up to do it again next year? I'm going to ask Brian Murphy in a trip to Murph's turf after the break. Kat?
And the cold air is here. We've got a couple of systems that we're keeping an eye on this week. And the first, we'll have these two kind of coming together. We'll talk more about it coming up.
But first, let's look ahead at some of the news stories we're keeping an eye on this week. Tomorrow, inflation data comes out for the month of December. Forecasters think the number will be somewhere between the 2.5% to 3% range. On Thursday, 4 astronauts at the ISS are set to splash down back on Earth. UNC graduate Zena Cardman is among the astronauts to return. NASA is bringing them back early because of a medical issue with one of the crew members. Didn't say which crew member had the issue or what the issue was. And on Friday, a memorial will be held for former NASCAR driver Greg Biffle and his family. They were killed in a plane crash in Statesville last month. The memorial is open to the public at Bojangles Coliseum in Charlotte. We'll be right back.
Who thought losing a playoff game could feel this good? Yes, the Panthers are out, but the season has fans feeling more hope than they have felt in years. Bryce Young didn't shrink in the spotlight. Dave Canales brought the team from the dumpster to the playoffs in just his second season. Was it a fluke or just the beginning? I'm asking you. I have no idea. Actually, I do know where to turn, though. Let's take a little trip to Murph's Turf. Murph. How we doing, bud?
Good, Dan. How are you?
Great. Let's talk Panthers. What a surprising year it was. What's your overall feeling? Even though they're out of the playoffs, they put a really good effort against the Rams. Last year to this year seems like such an improvement.
Yeah, I mean, there are no moral victories in the NFL, but that certainly was one. The atmosphere on Saturday, how close they played the Rams as double-digit underdogs. I mean, I think you leave this season with a great feeling if you're the Panthers and if you're a Panthers fan.
Let's hone in a little bit and give some grades here. Let's look at Bryce Young, okay? Seemed to be such an improvement compared to last year. What would you give him as a grade this year compared to last year?
Well, he set new career marks across the board, including completion percentage, yards, touchdown passes. I would give him a B-. I think there was a lot of questions coming into the season about whether Bryce Young was a franchise quarterback. I think he's answered those questions for now. He's certainly going to be your guy moving forward. It's a big offseason, though, for the Panthers. They've got to decide whether to extend Bryce Young for a fifth year, exercise his fifth-year option, or do they give him a longer-term deal than that? And we've seen with quarterbacks, if you don't have a quarterback good enough to win the Super Bowl and you get locked into one of those high-priced, long-term deals, it can end up being a detriment to your team.
Let's talk Dave Canales. So this is a second-year coach who took a team that was really struggling and put them in the playoffs. Yeah, it wasn't pretty. Yeah, they kind of backed in, but they were there. What grade would you give him this year compared to last, especially considering how new he is?
Yeah, I think about the same, a B-. I mean, this was a team that started off 1-3, so he deserves a lot of credit for getting him turned around, for sticking with his game plan. However, down the stretch, this team had a chance to kind of make their own way, to put themselves in the playoffs. They lost to the Saints twice. They lost 2 games at the end of the regular season when either one would have put them in the playoffs. They needed help to get in the playoffs. And then they get up on Los Angeles late in that game and aren't able to hold on. So, I think Canales certainly deserves to be back, deserves a long leash here, and is turning this program around. But you need to stack seasons like this one, not just have it be, a blip.
So let's talk expectations, because this year it was clear Panthers fans were happy with what happened with the team. It was a big bounce back. They make the playoffs. They beat the Rams late in the season. They had a great game in the wild card against a team that could very well end up going to the Super Bowl and having an MVP quarterback. So that's a great showing. But now that has happened, fans are going to start looking for more.
Until they move the Panthers out of the NFC South, they're going to have a chance. That division is not great. We'll see a new coach in Atlanta. We'll see what happens with Tampa, which really stumbled. Maybe the New Orleans was playing the best down the stretch, but being in that division gives you a chance. However, it starts over at 0-0 next year. And in order to win most divisions, you've got to win 11 games, maybe even 12 games. Is this roster capable of that? Rico Dowdle is a free agent. A lot of offensive linemen are free agents. Ike Ekwonu, their left tackle, tore his patella tendon, is likely out for most of the season. And so just a lot of things went right for this team this year. How many of those things go right? Does Bryce Young get a step better? Do the receivers evolve? Do you find somebody in the draft? There's just a lot of work for this team. It's not a ready-made contender. The excitement is certainly back in Charlotte. Can you build on it?
All right. Thanks, Murph.
Thank you.
Kat, we had such a beautiful Saturday. Yesterday, it was striking not just the temperature change, but how fast that came on. It's like I was outside enjoying the weather, and then I came inside, went back out for a minute. And what happened here?
Oh, yeah. And the wind was not kind.
Right, exactly.
I was in Pilot Mountain yesterday, so it got cold a lot faster there. But man, when the wind hit, it was a totally different season. Winter's back, but we still have some kind of, roller coaster temperatures to go this week. 60 degrees tomorrow is going to feel pretty good with the sunshine, especially because it's not going to be terribly windy outside tomorrow. Upper 50s to lower 60s. Still cold tomorrow morning. I want to be very clear there. You're going to need your jacket when you leave the house. And looking ahead, Wednesday, more clouds roll in. Still a wind out of the southwest, so it is mild despite the clouds. Temperatures still warm up into the mid to upper 50s. And late Wednesday into Thursday, we've got a couple aspects to our next system. One where the bulk of the rain stays at the coast and offshore, and another part of this system that brings some snow to the mountains. We're kind of wedged in between both of these systems, and the moisture splits around us. We don't have a whole lot of moisture with our midweek system, and we have pretty mild temperatures in the 40s at the time that the moisture will be around. So the chance for flurries is dwindling midweek, or at least anything notable. And cold air chasing moisture just isn't the best setup for snow in North Carolina. In fact, it's really not good. You need the cold air in place and then the moisture to come. So through Thursday, we're looking at a 0% chance of an inch or more of snow in our area. Still about a 50-50 shot in the mountains. That chance goes up quite a bit for the mountains over the weekend. For us here in central North Carolina, we're looking at about a 5% chance of an inch or more of snow in the triangle out of our weekend system, which there's still a lot of question marks in regards to that. So here's Wednesday's system. You can see some of that energy offshore, the energy moving into the mountains where it brings some snow. For us, just some light sprinkles looking possible really overnight into early Thursday. They move on out of here. A northwest wind kicks in, and that pushes in the Arctic air. This is going to be more of a prolonged cold for us that will last through the weekend and much of next week. So if things could just time out right, then we would have the cold air in place. But Saturday, with this wind briefly switching back to a southwest, may end up being warm enough for just rain, if the precipitation does hold steady in that time frame. We'll keep an eye on the weekend for you, but it's not looking like much of anything during the work week. Looking ahead tonight in Franklinton, it'll be chilly. Finally, the cold air to match some of their snowy decorations. Temperatures are already in the low 40s for many of us. And if we look ahead tonight, mid to upper 20s. It's going to be cold when you wake up tomorrow morning. Throughout the day, though, gradual warming taking place thanks to a southwest wind. Ample sunshine, a beautiful day, and the warmest of the week. After that, we'll see changes with a midnight high again on Thursday. It's going to be windy with the Arctic air moving in. Thursday night and a Friday morning, we drop to 20 for the low, and that's likely to come with wind chills in the teens. No more mid-70s on our 7-day forecast.
Oh, boy. Okay. Well, it's January after all. One last thing for you tonight. How do you pronounce the name of North Carolina's capital city? Raleigh or Raleigh? If you haven't seen the podcast clip, we're going to share it with you. And we got to talk about how WRAL's own Chris Lovingood has become part of this trend online. One last thing tonight. How do you pronounce the name of North Carolina's capital city?
Maybe you've seen this video. It's been out for a bit. Former NFL receiver Chad Ochocinco, as I almost butchered his name there, butchers the name of our city. Listen here.
I've been to Charlotte twice. I've been to Raleigh. I've been to Raleigh twice.
You mean Raleigh?
Raleigh.
Oh, okay.
That's the best part. He just accepts it. He's like, whatever, man, fine. So this is a clip again. It's been out for a bit, but we bring it up tonight for a reason. It's because Chad Ochocinco, the former NFL receiver in that clip there, actually reshared WRAL Chris Lovingood's clip and his take on this entire trend. So Chris had everyone on the WRAL morning show say Raleigh instead of Raleigh, and apparently it was pretty convincing because people all through the comments were wondering if this video was AI generated. They didn't believe it was real.
So funny.
That was the real deal. Ken Smith there. That's not AI, but it was just a bit of fun from the news team there, and it kind of caught on.
They like to have a lot of fun. Yeah, if you aren't following Chris Lovingood already, he posts stuff like this all the time. Real shout out to him. Very creative guy. We should also talk about the official pronunciation of the capital city.
Why not?
Okay. We went online to the Cambridge Dictionary. Here are the phonetics they use. Raleigh. Okay. Yeah, that seems obvious, right? But not so fast. We also went to pronounceItright.com, and they say there are two ways to pronounce it: Raleigh and Raleigh.
Raleigh.
Raleigh and Raleigh.
That's pretty close.
Yeah, it's a very, very small change. But of course, it really just depends on your accent, maybe how long you've lived here,
It
right?
makes me think, though, how many people do you hear kind of do a little different pronunciations? Is there anything that we are pronouncing wrong? Please let me know. Send us that email, 7 p.m. at WRAL.com. Is it Graham or Graham? Is it Harnett or is it Harnett? You know what I mean? Harnett County? Harnett County?
Here's a trick for the news business,
You know what I
okay?
mean?
If you say it fast enough, then
They don't know. Nobody knows. Give us your feedback, though. Send us your questions, 7 p.m. at WRAL.com. This is your newscast. I don't want to mispronounce it. Please tell us.
Thanks for making WRAL your choice for local news.
Got our next newscast at 10 o'clock on Fox 50 and 11 o'clock back here on WRAL. Have a great night.
Keep watching WRAL News over the air channel 34 and Spectrum channel 1257.